Hello everyone, Carlos Flores, back on basics. So, before we begin, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Back on Basics 9985. Hit the notification button so that you can get notified of any new video that comes on board. If you have a topic, if you have a suggestion, if you have a question, or if you want to just connect with me for anything, put it in the comment section. And for some reason, if it's personal and you want to do it in a private manner, feel free to connect with me on social media outlets. On Facebook, you can search for me, Carlos Flores Jr., and you will see my face now. I actually changed my pictures on Facebook, on Instagram, on WhatsApp. I think X is the only one that has my older, when I'm a little kid. I may change it also, so that way it's all uniformed. So on Facebook, search for me, Carlos Flores Jr. You can see this face. on Instagram, you can type at Back on Basics. On X, you can type at Back on Basics. On WhatsApp, you can actually search for me by typing in at Back on Basics. You see how we're taking over all of these social media outlets. It's going to be Back on Basics. Not taking it over, but it'll be available in many different social media outlets. So you're welcome to do so. And once you're there, once you follow me or connect with me or befriend me or however it's called in each application, send me a private message. Text me a private message or write me a private message, a DM, however it's called, and I'll be more than happy to connect with you. And I'll be more than happy to make sure that I answer any question that you can. So, today we're going to talk about two aspects of motivation. The first one is intrinsic. The second one is extrinsic. So if you think of it this way, intrinsic means in. So that type of motivation comes from within. Extrinsic means external. So that comes from the surroundings, from the outside. So a very big difference between intrinsic and extrinsic. And so, but they are both motivating factors. So here's what I'm going to tell you. A lot of the times, intrinsic motivation, which comes from within, comes from here. Comes from your supercomputer. Comes from your focused mind. And a lot of the times, it's extrinsic, which is external, often comes here through our physical body. Often, not all the time, through our physical body in terms of your senses, right? Smell, taste, touch, right? What are the other ones? I just named three. So smell, taste, touch, touch I already said. But anyways, 3 or 5 senses. Hearing, right? And so there are differences between both of the types of motivations. Because when it comes within, people usually don't see it. And those are the things that whenever somebody gets popular, or whenever somebody becomes a big star, whenever somebody becomes a huge speaker, or whenever somebody is so driven that you can't even see what they're doing, it's usually because it's intrinsic. It's inside. It's here and inside here. I'm going to tell you this. I just, actually, about maybe 3 weeks ago, we saw a movie called Monkey Paw. Very violent, so I wouldn't recommend it for kids or, again, for the... But the thing that helped me think about is this, right? A lot of the times here in the United States and all over the world, We think of strength as being big, bulk up, right? But that movie just switched something inside, right? And it just motivated me intrinsically, internally, because I was looking. There was a scene where, he just put a bag of rice and he was punching it and punching it. And some guy was doing drums and everything to help him, right? And people were watching him. And it's amazing because instead of bulking up, he became so strong that there was no fat on him. I mean, there's no fat on him. And it was amazing. It just changed the way I thought about motivation. It changed the way I thought about strength, which means it's not force, right? It's sometimes it's just strength in the mind and body, but at the same time, you don't have to hulk up in order for you to be strong. You can be strong in the mind, right? And you can be strong physically, but you don't have to be big muscles and everything. You can just shred. And it's amazing because it doesn't mean that you're going to get skinny. It just means that you're going to let your muscles show. Man, it's like, here I am, right? Trying to go down to lose my inches in my belly. So that way I can start focusing on, doing a little bit of light. So that way I can bulk up a little bit and look a little bit stronger. And then I thought, I can still do weights, right? Which is extrinsic motivation, believe me, external motivation. And I can do weights, but not to bulk up, but to tone. So it may not be, I'm not going to be doing like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds. I'm just going to do enough to tone. I've never thought of it that way. I'm just giving you this example because it's like, I was like, a lot of the times we often feel like we have to lift the hardest. In high school, I used to do the leg squats. The machine that you squat like this with your legs. I used to get up there, 350, 400 pounds. It wasn't a lot, but still it was a lot for me. And I was thinking, what if I go the other way around? And then just shred, right? Like Bruce Lee, right? He was strong. He had those strong, and I'm not saying fighting, I'm not condoning fighting, but what I'm saying is that he used a system. Instead of becoming like this, he shredded, and it was amazing. I never thought of it that way. So that's my example, one of my examples of internal versus external motivation. So I think I'm gonna work towards shredding, right? I'm gonna work towards adapting my exercise regimen so that way I can drop. Look, just today I weighed myself. I think I was at 213, which is because I was at 217, 218 towards the beginning of the week, and actually before the weekend. And so I think I can do this, and that just motivates me here internally, intrinsically, and it just motivates me also to do things a certain way, to do things to move forward. And again, I'm telling you this. Why am I telling you this? Because I want you to realize that I'm in the same journey as you are. I'm in that same journey, but we have different goals, and it's okay. But we're trying to figure out how to compound victories so that way they can get bigger, so that way we can move forward. And it's amazing because you know what? It's amazing that we have two kinds of motivations. Internal, right? Internal, intrinsic, external, extrinsic. because we need to. I think for me, I've been balancing both, but I haven't really pinpoint the reasons why I do it. Remember, I tell you, I get up in the morning, I do things physical. That's external motivations. It just built upon it. Like today in the morning, right before I went to work, I got up, I cleaned the cat litter. I took out water and watered the plants. Just open the umbrellas that are holding the sun over here because it is over 100 right now. So those were external motivators, because every time I finished something, I did something else. I did something else. I did something else. I did something else. And then afterwards, the focus came in. That internal motivation came in. My internal motivation was to get to work so that way I can prepare for next week. Next week is the last week of summer school, and I wanted to make sure that I was prepared so that way I can support the students on my caseload to the best of my ability. I mean, I'm a little under the weather, by the way. I'm a little sick. I don't know. It was just one of those, it's just hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold thing. I think I'm a little bit under the weather. I usually just become like that and become very sick. But I think because, again, about over a year and a half, I came from 267 pounds to 213, right? That's a big difference. That's a lot of weight that I don't have to deal with. My back is feeling better. I'm doing exercises to stretch my back, to straighten my back, right? Extrinsic motivation, right? Because my back is hurt. And I told you guys that when I was in my undergrad at UC Davis, I lifted a five-gallon bottle of water, and it just hurt my lower back. And from then on, I've been hurting. The thing is, as I got heavier and heavier and heavier, I leaned more forward, so it naturally stretched my back, so I wouldn't feel the tension or the tenderness in my lower back. But it was hurting me. It was actually overstretching my back. And as I lost it, and as I am right now, I can feel my lower back. And I love it, because you know what? It tells me that when I was heavier, my body was overstretched. It was being taken to the limit. And I didn't know it. I just okay, this is the way it is. But believe me, that motivated me internally, because I was like, if I can do that, then I can go down. I can be like the monkey paw. Watch the trailer. Do not watch the movie if you don't like the gruesome stuff. But it's like Bruce Lee, right? It's just shredded. It's awesome. I've also been thinking about going back to, whenever I have free time, going back to doing jiu-jitsu. Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I did about a year and a half of jiu-jitsu. I was still a black white belt. I had 2 tips. I loved it. It's the interaction, the way that you do things, the movement, that not using force, but using momentum to get your opponent in a certain position. And it was amazing. I loved it. I still have my gi. I still have my my belt. I would have to talk to my old sensei over at Nova Jurasao Jiu-Jitsu. And so, again, right? That's an external motivator for me. I don't know when I'm going to start working on it, but before that, I've been walking about almost 2.5 miles round trip to my summer school job. I've been doing a lot of different things. I've been doing shorts in the park. I've been doing shorts in different places, because I want to make sure that I'm consistent with you all as well. So that way I can probably provide you, or at least connect you to external motivators, which is extrinsic motivation, or internal motivators, which are intrinsic motivators, right? And so, I mean, examples, right? Like in one of my shorts, I did one in Spanish, I did one in English, and now, like I told you at the beginning of this video, now I have a channel on WhatsApp at Back on Basics. And so, you know, the links to those videos are there as well now. I mean, anybody can see them, right? Anybody can follow me. And so it's amazing that things are happening the way that they are. The small compounding victories for me are becoming medium-sized compounding victories, which is awesome. Motivation is here. Focus is here. Motivation is here. Focus is here. And so, you know, there is a big difference between intrinsic and extrinsic, right? Internal and external motivators. You just have to find them, right? For me, music is an external motivator, extrinsic, right? Playing games is an external motivator. My cat's over here. Look, I don't know if you can see, but she's right here. External motivators. I mean, it's amazing what they do. And the thing is that they come to me and they know when I'm not at my best, and they sit with me or they cuddle with me, and it just calms me down. I mean, it's amazing because it goes from the external motivators to the internal motivators. I mean, smiling, it's an internal motivator, right? I'm telling you, you smile, things will change. You can be at your darkest, but if you smile, things will change and things will go slowly. We'll go and we'll start moving forward. If you pray, that's an internal motivation, right? When you pray, when you chant, when you meditate, when you do things, those are internal motivators, intrinsic. Those are the things that can help you focus your mind, right? So that way your body's focused. Because remember, right, cognitive psychology says, if you think it, you will do it. But it also is the other way around. If you do it, then you will think it. It's amazing. It's amazing. That's the reason why I love psychology. That's the reason why I'm doing these videos every day. Every day. Because I want you to get as much information, even if it's repetitive, because I know that some of you have noticed that there are topics that kind of intertwine, and I bring back topics and I go in and I expand on them a little bit more. And then I take out some topics and I separate them into smaller ones. But that's okay. Repetition, right? Repetition builds muscle memory. This muscle, repetition builds muscle memory. This muscle. Either way, intrinsic or extrinsic, either internal motivation or external motivation, you are going to move forward. You're going to move forward, right? And then on top of that, and then in special education, it's called scaffolding. So the first scaffold is, I mean, it's you. It's getting to know yourself, others, right? Higher power, goals, how to celebrate your goals. The second scaffolding is now you start thinking about, okay, how can I be in the here and now? So that way I can make neutral decisions, right? And then another scaffolding is now it's about how can I motivate myself? And within that third scaffolding, there's internal and external, intrinsic versus extrinsic motivators. And then you go to the next one, and now you start thinking about compounding effect, because they start building. Look, it bubbles up, ladies and gentlemen. It bubbles up from the first scaffold to the second scaffold to the third scaffold to the fourth scaffold, or rung or pyramid level. It is when you start building, right? You start building your you start building your compounding victories. It's amazing. And then towards the top is balance, mind-body balance. What Maslow called self-actualization. You become the best you that there can be. Imagine that. All right. Let's stop here because I'm excited. But I'm 20 minutes in. And I want to make sure that you watch this video. Watch this video a couple times. Because it's amazing. It's the topic is simple. Internal versus external. It has different names. Intrinsic versus extrinsic, which is external. The scaffolding, I will talk about in a different video, and I'll go into detail because we're going to be putting together all the different parts. For now, keep moving. Connect with me on social media outlets. On Facebook, search for me, Carlos Flores Jr. Look for my face, my bald and my beard. On Instagram, type in @backonbasics. On X, type in @backonbasics. On WhatsApp, type in @backonbasics. Again, if you have questions that are personal, don't hesitate. I'm here. I love it. I love answering questions. I do. One of my intrinsic motivators is helping people out, supporting people so that way they can reach their goals. Am I charging for this? No. I'm helping you. I'm making myself available. Till next time, back on basics.